In today's tutorial, I am going to show you how to make this simply adorable daisy. It's really quick to work up and takes about 15-20 minutes to make. So I'm going to walk you through it step by step. So it'll take us a little bit longer because I'll be talking when we do this, but I'll show you how to make it. So we're going to start off with some yellow yarn, and we're also going to need some white yarn. And then I'm just going to use my 3mm hook for this, but you can use whatever hook that corresponds with the yarn that you're working with. So we're creating a slip stitch to start, and then we're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So once we've chained 6, we're going to slip into the 5th stitch from the hook, so the very first stitch, and we're going to create a slip stitch in there. So from there, we're now going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to do a treble crochet stitch. So yarn over twice, go into the loop, draw up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2. Then we're going to yarn over again and pull through a further 2, and then yarn over the remaining 2. So we're going to repeat this another 16 times. In total we'll have 18 treble crochets on our hook. As the pattern remains the same, I'll meet you when I get back to the end of this round. So if we just continue to put in our treble crochets until we have a count of 18 treble crochets. This includes our chain 3 at the beginning. So I've just finished up this round, so I'm just going to join it in the top of our chain and do a slip stitch. Once we have done our slip stitch, we then want to put 18 single crochets into each one of the stitches, or in each one on the top of the stitches that we have just created. So just keep going around with a single crochet, and I'll meet you for the next part. Once we have our 18 slip stitches, we can chain 1 to fasten off, and then we can tie off here. And then we can cut our yarn and just quickly weave in our ends. I've crocheted over the tail of the back so that I hadn't got to weave that in, but if you haven't, now is a good time to get that in, just to get rid of it. And I'm just going to quickly tie off here. What I like to do, just to make sure it doesn't come undone, is to make a simple knot and then cut off. It just gives it a bit of extra security. So I'm going to move on to my next colour now, which is my white. So we're going to join with a slip stitch again, and we're just going to join in to the top of our single crochets that we created. So we're going to join with the slip stitch in the top of any one of those single crochets that we have just created. Spin our tail around so we can work over it, and then we're going to chain 5. Oops. So we count 1, so we've just used that, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then we're going to put in a treble into the same stitch. So yarn over twice, draw through your loop, pull through 2 loops. Once we have our 2 trebles on our hook, we are next going to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. Then we're going to go into the stitch of our treble. We're going to yarn over and we're going to put 7 double crochets over the top of this stitch. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, and our 7th. Then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch along. So we're now going to repeat this. So once we slip stitched, we'll then need to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we will do a treble crochet into the same stitch. Then chain 3. Then we're going to work back over our treble crochet with a double crochet, and then we're going to put 7 double crochets over the top of this stitch. And then we are going to complete this all the way round, so repeating the same instructions all the way round till we get to the first stitch that we created, on the first chain that we created, our first chain 5. So I'm going to continue doing that and I'll meet you for the next round. So I've now got back to the very last stitch, so I'm going to slip stitch into the first stitch that we did, and then once we have done that, we are then going to go into these stitches here, and we're just going to slip into all of these stitches, and we'll do that about 3 times just to get to the top just weave in and out, just pulling through, and then once you get to the top, we'll put in 1 double crochet, we're putting 1 double crochet, and then we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to go to the very back of our loop, and we'll go through that, and once again we are going to do a slip stitch into the back, then we'll do a double crochet, chain 2, and then go into the back of the next stitch into the top, slip stitch, then we're going to do a double crochet around the back of the stitch, and then chain 2, and we'll repeat this all the way round until we have finished. So we slip, double over the top, chain 2, and you'll see our petals will form over the top of one another, and then they'll lie like that. So slip stitch into the first, double crochet over the back, and then chain 2, and we'll just repeat that. So I'll finish this and then I'll come back to you once I'm at the end. Once we've slipped into our very last flower, we can chain 1 to fasten off, and then we can snip off, and then all that's left to do is to weave our ends through, but you should be left with something that looks a little like this. So I hope you found that easy to make and easy to follow. If you do have any questions, please leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer. But yeah, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you for the next one.